George decided not to join LeBron on his hometown Lakers, instead opting for a 4-year, $137 million with a stay with the Thunder. George actually announced the decision at a house party thrown by his teammate Russell Westbrook. I bet that was just nothing but popping. Whitlock, do you give Russ credit for George staying in OKC?
Is there anyone else to give it to? The guy made the announcement.
The bank.
He made the announcement at Russell Westbrook's house. Who else to give him the credit for? We've sat here and heard no one wants to play with Russell Westbrook.
You think he's suddenly easier to play with today?
No, you said no one wants to play with Russell Westbrook. Paul George just decided to play with him. LeBron James, who I love and respect, Kyrie Irving didn't want to play with him.
And Paul George, apparently, either.
Paul George didn't want to play with him.
How do we know Paul George heard the Kawhi news and thought, I don't want to be a third wheel on the Lakers? That's not possible?
What's possible is he didn't want to give up that 40 extra million. that's
well, he only had to get, like, the Lakers could have given him, like, $8 million less, like 129 over 4 versus 137 over 4. So I don't think it was a financial decision. I do think you have to give Russ credit. I mean, how many times does George have to say it for us to believe it? He loved playing. He talked about the friendship. I think that was a huge part of it. The friendship, the trust he developed with Westbrook. And, look, if it was just about, okay, I can't go to the Lakers and be the third option, then he could have looked at other teams. If it was just about, if Philly would have been, I still think he missed an opportunity to go to Philadelphia where he'd have been one first or second scorer.
Here's where I'll give Westbrook credit. Recruiting is about love. Mark Richt coaches Miami Hurricanes. I was talking to him about recruiting one time, and he said, listen, whether I'm in Georgia or Miami, you just got to tell the players, I love you. We need you. You're really needed here. And I do think OKC and Westbrook really made Paul feel like, man, and I think they're right, we really want you to be part of this.
As players, you got to, you love Russell Westbrook. You want to play with, every player wants to play with a guy like Russell Westbrook. Great players want to play with great players. It's not necessarily making your job easier, but you want to play with great players, and I think they had a lot to do with it because he's an MVP, one of the best players in the league. They can grow. They can get to the finals together, and I think Paul George understands that.
Look, what other reason is there to stay in Oklahoma City? This dude grew up out here in California, lived in one of the best cities in America, Indianapolis, for a number of years. Awesome city. And he chose to stay in Oklahoma City. That's got to be Russell Westbrook, and it's given me hope that we're going to see a little different version of Russell Westbrook moving forward.
Melo, too.
How do I know Russell Westbrook hasn't been empowered? Russell Westbrook last year had to play nice because he wanted to keep him.
He didn't play any differently.
He still averaged a triple-double.
Exactly. Russ played his same old game. And here's the thing, look, Paul George had his best catch-and-shoot year ever. Best percentage from 40 or from three-point line. Defensively, that team with Anthony Robertson or Andre Robertson, well, hold on. They're starting five with Robertson, Melo, Westbrook, George, and Steven Adams was analytically one of the best starting fives in the league or one of the best five-man units in the league. So I'm not saying they're going to win a championship. I don't think they can win a championship. I think, though, they can be in the mix to maybe get to the conference finals here or there, but certainly be one of those teams that's fighting for the second round and be a tough team in the West.
It's hard when you have a shooting forward that you can hack a shack and send to the line.
He can't shoot. I get that.
That'll kill you. But the fact that they had a year together, the fact that Melo's coming back, I think they all realize the sacrifices they have to make now to be great because I don't think the coach is there that they need, but I think as a team and those three guys, I think they can figure it out.
Melo's really they're not going to ice Melo? Why not cut bait with Melo?
By the way, you watched the Utah series. I mean, Westbrook emotionally unraveled. What's changed?
Look, that they lost. Sometimes you learn from pain and losing. And then just this whole recruiting process with Paul George, surely there were discussions about how can we win here because the way we went at it last year didn't work. I expect, and I know I'm stubborn, and I'll be proven wrong maybe. I expect Russell Westbrook to make some adjustments and he and Paul George to work better.
Like what kind of adjustments?
Just share the ball a little bit more, not jack up so many
Smarter
threes.
plays.
Just playing smarter.
Threes.
Yeah,
experience is the best teacher.
Yep. All right, let's return to L.A., where LeBron's decision to join the Lakers just shifted the entire balance of the NBA. While the West has been the association's dominant conference for several years, LeBron's presence in the East had balanced it out. But with LeBron heading west, the competitive imbalance has reached an absurd proportion, with almost all the best players now concentrated in one conference. Cowherd, is this bad for the NBA?
I actually do think it's lopsided. I don't think the dynasty is bad because dynasties are good for ratings and everybody tries to attack the dynasty. I don't think dynasties are problems. Here's an issue. Think about this. In the East right now, if just one player, Joel Embiid, who has a history of injuries, he played 64 games, if he got hurt next year, there's no I mean, it's literally the Celtics and Giannis. What would you have in the conference? Sports is about interesting. Ben Simmons is interesting. Giannis is interesting. The Celtics are interesting. Boy, you could lose 5 All-Stars in the West. It's still interesting. The East is an injury away from not even being watchable.
Again, what I think is bad for the NBA is, again, all the best talents on the West Coast. That means all your best talent is playing late at night. You're in bed on the East Coast. You don't get to showcase LeBron James on playing for an Eastern Conference team. You don't get to showcase him as often out here playing in L.A. I think a lot of your customer base on the East Coast is going to get a steady diet and I love Victor Oladipo, but I just don't think he drives ratings the way LeBron did.
I know the Raptors are screaming. I know they're so happy that LeBron is out the East. They have a chance, to get to the finals now. But like you said, I love it, the fact that LeBron came to the West for the challenge that he's taking. But the East is not going to be entertaining at all to me. I think Boston's just going to run through the East.
Reseeding,
well, look, I've said for a while that they need to just – you can keep the conferences for organizations purposes if you want, but even out the schedule and go best 16 records. That's what I like to see. But let me say this, because that chart was a little deceiving. If you're right, Embiid has to stay healthy. But if Embiid does stay healthy, you have an up-and-coming great team in Philadelphia that, to your point, is also exciting. Okay, Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, they're fun. Boston has Kyrie Irving, who is now a legitimate celebrity out of basketball. His game is fun to watch. So Boston's a legit team. So I think right there you got 2 great up-and-coming teams. And Milwaukee, I expect to be much better with Mike Budenholzer, who led a Atlanta team to 60 wins a few years ago. They didn't have anything close to Giannis. They got Chris Middleton, Jabari Parker. So I think that the East is certainly not as good as the West. But if these teams stay healthy, it can be exciting.
I'm really concerned about you, because you're going to see a lot of first halves of LeBron James. I have no idea what happened in the second half. When on your couch, knocked out, slobbered.
You have reduced LeBron and the Lakers to something between Orlando and Sacramento.
I'm just saying, all you're going to see is the first half. You will have no idea what happened in the second half.
You're used to him being in the East. It's going to be different. It's going to be different.
Kobe Bryant is telling everyone how excited he is that LeBron is on